Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So even though we're coming off of a shortened holiday week, just because bankers are lazy doesn't mean we are. We still grab some interesting headlines. So Plastiq officially has a new home. We'll talk about that. We have a new luxury airline taking you to the Maldives. In case you haven't heard, people on YouTube like the Maldives. Delta has had quite the interesting week, so we will touch on them. Not the story you probably think we're going to cover though. And of course, we will close with Capital One opening its second airport lounge in Washington, Dulles, so that brings their total to 2, so we will talk about it. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now we will lead off with Plastiq, everyone's former favorite payment processing platform that allows you to, say that 3 times fast, that allowed you to pay bills you ordinarily couldn't with a credit card and get rewards points. It was basically their marketing material to pay with a credit card and get points. Well, that didn't last too long. Once it gained in popularity, of course, the payment networks and the banks pushed back, blocking things, like paying your car loan, which is what I use Plastiq for a very popular video, one of my favorite videos. Paying your mortgage was a popular one as well. American Express pulled out altogether from participating, as they're known to do. Well, Plastiq had ended up filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in May of this year. They now have a new home, Priority Technology Holdings, which they were always in the running to acquire them. So let's take a look at this. Of course, we have a good media quote, and then we'll talk about it. So overall, again, the acquisition is, I think it's probably pending approval, but they've got everything done. Now, they've also been buying other stuff as well. The quote goes in to say, they are a leading platform for unified commerce that delivers integrated payments and banking at scale. Of course, announced today that it has completed its acquisition of substantially all the assets of Nearside Business Corp and PLV Inc., as well as all the equity of Plastiq Canada Inc. and Plastiq Inc. overall, collectively the whole thing, with the approval of the United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware. Here we go. We are eager to welcome Plastiq's employees and customers into Priority family. Both companies have been focused on building leading business-to-business payment solutions. Of course, their combined power will go ahead and make them do cool things. That is from the CEO. I'm paraphrasing at the end. I can only take so much media speak. Again, that's why I'm not in marketing, doing my own thing here. So there you have it. Now, overall, there are other services like this out there, but, it's just, it was sad to see. So going forward, who's really to say? I don't think this company's particularly interested much at all in credit card rewards, people using this. And generally speaking, the only reason it really makes sense to pay this stuff with a credit card is for the rewards, which Plastiq knew, but with the payment networks, fighting this, I don't think this iteration of it is going to live on. They likely wanted to buy it, pull in whatever real customer base they had, maybe some technology that maybe use this as a way to offer another service to their existing clients. They seem much more focused on real business clients than people like us. So we'll see what happens if they take Plastiq down, if they leave the name, if they simply just fold it over into their system. Don't know much about these guys, but there you go. So well fought battle, Plastiq. You were the hero we needed. Unfortunately, you just didn't make it to the end. So there is that. Now, moving on. If you like travel and luxury travel and want to go to the Maldives, then we have the airline for you. There's a new airline called Beyond, but not spelled the way you think it was spelled the cool way. Beyond is an airline launching that's going to be based in the Maldives, and is actually built as a luxury airline. I think the cheapest class you can get is actually business class flight. So if you take a look at this, again, Beyond Airlines, based in the Maldives. They're billed as the world's first premium leisure airline. Beyond will have direct flights from the Maldives to 60 locations in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. You can book flights now. And full operation will go live this November. Another quote, because why not, from the CEO. We are proud to launch the world's first luxury leisure airline here in the Maldives. We are working closely with the authorities to launch the airline the soonest and to many new destinations. The management of the airlines would like to convey the deepest gratitude and thanks to the government. No one ever says F you publicly to the government, but that's from 1 mile at a time. So, overall, it is interesting, because we've seen budget-friendly airlines, but I guess you're going to be based in the Maldives, and why not just go for it and just make a luxury airline? I don't think I'll end up on it anytime soon, but this is prime for someone who does more travel-focused YouTube videos. I'm legitimately not naming anyone specifically, but many folks do this. who could come out and make a video about this. And I will be interested to see the business model. Because on one hand, you would think just being based in the Maldives, yes, it's 60 different locations, but it seems somewhat limited potentially. And there's also like seasonal times that people go. So I don't know how that will work out into their play, being so hyper focused to get you to basically one destination. Obviously you can just come from multiple destinations straight to the Maldives, but we haven't seen, and more often than not we see budget. So it's interesting to see a new model. Will it result in a new credit card or loyalty program? Who's to say? Probably, but we'll keep our eye on it for sure. Now, that's too highbrow for you. Then we have some, mid-tier stuff with Delta. Now, Delta had an interesting week. They had one headline that's been beaten to death already, return flight. We won't really get into that. You can look it up. They also signed Tom Brady as a consultant or advisor because of reasons, I guess. So they also had to deal with all the jokes about lowering the cabin pressure by 20%, things like that. So it's supposed to be more than just an ad campaign, but he's supposed to be advising them on leadership and whatnot. Like, okay, sure, I guess. But the story we're talking about comes from View from the Wing. Now, this is more of a rumor than anything else, but there is a rumor going around that as Delta and Amex have also been talking about reworking their Sky Miles credit cards and the lounge accesses. We've talked about that rumor in the past, basically dropping down from unlimited to just having a set amount of passes that were like in the single digits, for basically the platinum. Maybe the regular platinum and the Delta Reserve as well. Technically, the Delta Platinum gets you in, but you have to pay for it. The Reserve and the regular Platinum, Amex Platinum, have basically unlimited. So they'd be working with that. In addition to that, as soon as late next week, they could potentially revamp their loyalty, their Delta Sky Miles program. So currently, it's kind of confusing because it's got like 3 different categories. You have like MQMs, MQDs, and MQSs, so medallion qualifying miles, medallion qualifying segments, and medallion qualifying dollars, I think it is. How it's broken up. So basically you need a combination of those to hit a certain status. So again, View from the Ring will be able to tell us better. But for example, you need to do 125,000 miles or 140 segments plus spend $20,000 in qualifying spend to get diamond status. So the rumor is that they could simply simplify this down to like a single metric or single number, like American Airlines loyalty points or United Premier qualifying dollars, which would be much simpler. It is kind of hard to manage. I mean, it's not necessarily like a problem for me, trust me, but it is kind of annoying, and it's annoying by design. I think long time ago, it just used to be based on like how many miles you'd fly, but again, people started doing mileage runs and things like that, so I think they overcomplicated to making sure it's not only about the miles, but the segments that you do versus the dollars. So I would like to see them simplify it. Overall, Delta gets a bad rap, but it's a known bad rap, as View from the Wing goes on to say in their piece. They're probably I think the most powerful airline, especially in their markets where they're a hub at, like here in Detroit. They basically have their own entire terminal, as McNamara terminal off DTW. Then everyone else is in another terminal, right? So it's not uncommon, I guess, in hub spaces, but. The old running joke of Sky Pesos and all that, even with Amex points transfer amounts, it's usually only like 1.2 cents per point, which is barely above table minimum. But again, overall, I mean, would they I don't think this would go as far as to say as they would actually revalue their points or anything like that, but they are simplifying it a little bit, which could at least tell us they're potentially aware of it, and maybe they do see some level of competition coming. We could see a little bit more, coming from them. I doubt it, but I like simplification, so we'll keep an eye on that, especially as a Delta flyer. Now, if you need somewhere to go and you don't want to go to the Maldives, well, you could go to DC and check out the Washington Dulles Airport that has the second Capital One Lounge now open. Now, I was not cool enough to get invited. YouTube's own Ask Sebi and Mandy Romes did, and there's one other guy who went out as well. They got invited to the media day. So definitely go check out their videos if you want a tour. I'm not going to blatantly steal all their footage and put it up, but overall it looks pretty nice. I do think they do a good job of, in the Capital One Lounge, of actually having that grab and go thing, for people who just want to grab snacks and then leave, because I think a lot of people just go to the lounge to get food because they can. So I do wonder if that will catch on over time in other lounges, to help cut down on the crowds. Let me just give you what you want and you can be on your way. Overall, I think it looks nice. Everything looks nice when it's new. So I do think it looks nice. It's good to see Capital One finally opening up these lounges. Again, Lounge Wars rage on. We've seen other lounges open as well. I'm just focusing on this one because Capital One is the one we talk about the most and people generally ask about the most. So if you do make it through, I know some folks have sent pictures of it while they were building it out. So it is officially open now. You can go check it out. Of course, go check out those guys' videos as well. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for the news. So of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel because of course we're posting content just like this every single week and right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com, the channel's blog where we have the latest news stories, credit card offers, and bank promotions. So if you want to get in the Capital One Lounge and you need a card, well, we have you covered. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.